Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. It's lovely to see you all. Happy New Year. We're really lucky this morning. We have got Louise McDonald here, who's actually a Facebook expert, Facebook ads, all that stuff that I hate. So it's great to learn. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Samantha. How are you? Thanks so much for having me here.
You're welcome. We're so lucky to have you. Thank you so much. So there are a few people joining now. Not everyone's joined. Let's see who's here. We have Katrina and Melanie have just joined us. So welcome, ladies. I'm sure more will join now as we go live. So okay, so Louise, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself that might not know you?
Yeah, no problem at all. So I have been training, coaching, and helping businesses use social media for the last, I was going to say 10 years, but it must be coming up on 11 now because a year has gone by. Actually, I can just even go through my slides here because I have it here. I'm the author of Facebook Marketing, The Essential Guide. So I decided to write the book, I suppose it must be 3 years ago at this stage, because I just felt that I had been training on Facebook for so long. I was training on Facebook before, like, you know, anybody. I'd say I was one of the first training at it in the country. And because I have been training on it so long, I just kind of felt I had developed a unique approach to helping businesses, because what I found, and anyone who's a trainer that's here will know what I mean when I say this, that you know, when you go into a room and you tell people the level the training is at, but you always get people at different levels. And so I could go into a training room and find that I had somebody totally beginners, or somebody that was advanced, or somebody that just hadn't even ever been on Facebook ever in their lives. And so I kind of had to develop an approach that I could bring them all with me throughout that one session. And that's the approach that I put into my book. And I have to say, I deliberately didn't buy any Facebook marketing books before I wrote my book, because I didn't want them to influence me. But I have since, and like every time I get one, I'm like going, God, my book is good.
I know, yeah.
So, yeah, I've had a really good year. I'm just pulling out my stats now because I'm on my Facebook page. I actually have trained over 3,000 people online this year, which I'm actually most delighted about. I've trained many, very many in person as well, with over 52 days group and corporate training, 14 keynote addresses in Ireland and around, well, further afield. This is me speaking at an event in Varna in Bulgaria, which was a brilliant event. It was the biggest stage I've ever been on, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I also launched my online training platform, which has been going really well as well for me as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So yeah, so I do a lot of corporate training. So I do a lot of strategy, social media strategy, strategies for large businesses, and even smaller businesses who just need a power hour, who just need to get themselves a little bit further along and need a little bit of assistance with that. I have a good overall approach that I can help them with. And here's my online training platform, and I will be talking to you a little bit later about that. So I've also been voted the top 50 worldwide bloggers, and top 108 digital marketing experts, and top 10 worldwide Facebook experts, and all those things that go with it as well. Hi, Martina. Good to see you checking in there. So this is what we're going to cover in this webinar this morning. We're going to look at first of all, the latest digital marketing figures, because I just find those fascinating. And I think in terms of developing strategy, and everybody needs to develop strategy. I know nobody likes to hear that word, but even if your strategy is a simple list on a page of things you're going to do by a certain time, you're going to achieve more than if you don't do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at latest digital marketing figures. We're going to look at what's new or coming down the line on Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. And we're going to look at 5 tactics then that you can all employ to get better results from your social media marketing in 2020. So the digital revolution. So I love this slide because I think people forget how fast things are moving. So when you think about it, the internet in its current format is only really in existence since 1989. Like, that's absolutely not that long ago. I was in 3rd year in school at that time, you know, and to think like that we got to that far and like we hadn't even used the internet. First text message was sent in 1992. Google was only founded in 98. LinkedIn, one of the early social media platforms, 2002. Facebook's around since 2004, Twitter since 2006, and the iPhone in 2007, followed by the Android in 2008. So, like, that's not that long ago as well. And Instagram is really only around since 2010. So the reason I say we're in the middle of a digital revolution is that things are moving really quickly. And that, I know that really frustrates lots of businesses because things are constantly changing. But I don't think we appreciate how quickly things are moving. So that's just a little slide to let us think about that. There's
Louise, would you mind if I just went live on Twitter with some of this? Is that okay?
No,
Yes.
fire
Go ahead. Okay.
away. There are 7.6 billion people in the planet. Okay, so again, let's just bear that in mind for a second. Internet users out of the 7.6 billion are 4.3 billion. So that's a huge proportion of everybody on the planet that's actually on the internet. Now, 3.4 billion of the 7.6 billion in the world are active social users. Okay, again, that's a really significant stat. And then 3.2 billion of those are mobile social media users. So what we learned from this slide is that most people, like 3.2 out of 3.4 billion, are accessing social media on their phones, okay? And that affects a lot of what we do. And the other thing to note is that 3.4 out of 7.6 are active social media users. And this presents a huge opportunity for us as business people, because 10 years ago or 20 years ago, when we were learning marketing in college and we were trying to find out how we could, I sat down last night with my kids and they were doing a list of what was an entrepreneur and what did it mean to be an entrepreneur and what were the skills you needed, and like part of that is all about communicating your product to the person who's most likely to buy it, or your product or service to the person who's most likely to buy it. And here we have huge potential because we have 3.2 billion people on the planet walking around with these things, and they're walking around with them in their hands, they're walking around in their pockets, they're walking around in, on their person. And so this is a huge opportunity for us to reach them. Okay, so let's just get a further breakdown. 2.4 billion monthly active users on Facebook. Okay, so it's still the leading social media platform on the planet, followed by YouTube, 2 billion. People love video. After that, we have WhatsApp at 1.6 billion, Messenger 1.3 billion, WeChat 1.1 billion. I tried to join it, but I couldn't get in. Well, this is the Chinese social media platform. Then we have Instagram, 1 billion. Then we have Reddit, or QQ, I always get mixed up between those two, but there's 8.2, and that's connected to WeChat. Then we have TikTok, the new kid on the block. Now we're down to 5 million as opposed to billion. Reddit, again, with messaging platform, 3.3 million, and then followed by Twitter after that. So I think what's really interesting about this graph is that if you kind of just reorganize the icons, and what we can see is that Facebook, obviously, they own WhatsApp, they own Instagram, and they own Messenger. And so between those four platforms, if you tot up the figures, of course, there's going to be some people using all of them. I believe that, there's a very high proportion of the 3.2 or 3.4 billion social media users between those four platforms. And so that's why I'm so passionate about Facebook and Facebook marketing and Facebook ads. Is because you can pay to have your content shown on Facebook, Instagram, Messenger. Depending on what country you're in, you can run ads on WhatsApp as well. So, and actually, somebody said to me yesterday, I thought it was really interesting. They said, "Oh, Louise, we saw your ad on TikTok."
Wow.
I'm not running any ads on TikTok. So obviously, Facebook are using TikTok as third party. I wanted, how they run their ads on the third party platforms. So anyhow, I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so let's look at the figures in Ireland. 2.3 million people on Facebook every single day, 1.2 million people on Instagram, 900,000 on Snapchat, Twitter 680,000, LinkedIn, just less than that again. So again, put it in some context. the opportunity we have on social media is massive. So between all the social media platforms, they kind of kill, not that there's anything wrong with print media at all, because if the Irish Independent or the Irish Times decided they want to do a feature on me, I'd fall over them to get there, and rightly so. And I'm not at all putting one down over the other. I'm just trying to give them just a little bit of context. And like that, the highest rated television program in 2018 was the Late Late Toy Show. And the reason the Late Late Toy Show performed so well was because they started all their planning months and months and months in advance. And that's important to take away from this. So we have a huge opportunity. We have lots and lots and lots of people that we can reach. Now, as I said, I'm an advocate of Facebook, but sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with it as well. So it's, sometimes it frustrates the hell out of me, as it does everybody else. Organic reach is becoming harder to achieve, in saying that if you do things in the right way, it's still possible. Now, they announced at the end of 2019 that they're going to change the way they count organic reach. So you may see a huge drop on organic reach, but actually they're just now counting unique viewers as opposed to impressions. So that's just something to bear in mind. So it can be frustrating when you see organic reach is decreasing. The Cambridge Analytica scandal had a major impact. So Cambridge Analytica scandal, as you know, it was when this company came and they harvested lots of data from people on Facebook, and not only they ran some quiz, and when people gave consent for their information to be shared at Cambridge Analytica, not only did they share their information, but they shared the information of all their friends on Facebook, and that's what made it so bad. It's so I remember those quizzes going around at the time, and I remember going, when you do this quiz, you're giving all your personal information. I remember going, no, I'm not. But obviously, if some of your friends did, well, then your data went off to Cambridge Analytica, and they did not use it in a good way. So these were like bad actors, and they used it for political gain, and it just caused a huge scandal. Now, the impact that had many, many, many impacts, and we are still feeling the fallout from that. First of all, people stopped sharing a lot of their own personal information on Facebook. So the communion photos and I just ran a 10K, a lot of that sharing, for some people, I still share, but a lot of that sharing moved from Facebook to WhatsApp groups. So you all of a sudden there was a book club WhatsApp group, and there was the kids mommies group WhatsApp club, and there was the family WhatsApp group, and there was the school friends WhatsApp group. And so a lot of the sharing of information that would have been happening on Facebook started moving to WhatsApp. And actually Facebook recognized that themselves, obviously, because they're the best people at analyzing data themselves. And so what they announced last March at the summit was that the future was private. So they could see that people were kind of more concerned about their privacy. And again, this was a fallout from Cambridge Analytica. So a lot of the changes that we are seeing coming down the line on social media, particularly on the Facebook platform, and I mean Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, it kind of goes back to this statement. So the future is private. And so what Facebook announced at the F8 Summit was that they are creating a super app, and this super app is going to be a messaging app which incorporates WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram. So, and what's very clever about it is that it's all end-to-end encryption, going back to the statement of the future is private. Okay, and so they realize that people value the privacy, and they may not want to be on social media as much. People say, oh, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but as long as people have got their eyes on WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, they will reach them through ads, and that's all Facebook are concerned about, okay? And we as advertisers need to be concerned about that too. So this is going to be a super app. So if I'm on WhatsApp and you, Samantha, you're not on WhatsApp, but you're on Messenger, we'll be able to message each other through this one app. So it's a cross network. On Facebook, the changes that are coming down the line, again, it's going back to the statement of the future is private. They are now going to highlight groups and events. So you may have noticed towards the end of last year that there is now a new groups feed on Facebook. And again, that is going back to the fact that people like to have conversations within the confines of a more private space. And groups give that feel to people, and you feel that people are more active in groups. So my prediction is that they are now going to start enhancing groups more and more. And I would like to see them do that, because I use groups myself. I have a group for my private members. So no more than the win is a private group. So you subscribe to be in it. And personally, I don't know about you, Samantha, but I hate the fact that once you get over 250 people in a group, you start losing all the stats. I don't like the fact that you can't use ads to promote, content to your groups. So I would love to see them enhance that a little bit more. And when they have said that they are going to be focusing on groups, I would say that that's something that's going to be coming down the line. The other thing that events are not new at all by any shape or means. But what Facebook has said is they're going to be putting more emphasis on events nearby. And again, that is just kind of following the trend and following the way that users are using the app. So if you are running events, so let's say if, like Samantha, you're running so many events in the year, my advice is sit down now, create those events on your Facebook page, make all the speakers co-hosts, make all the locations of the venues co-hosts, because that gives that event visibility in many, many more different places. And what Facebook have said is that they are going to give emphasis on events nearby. So if I'm living in Athlone and all of a sudden I'm being prompted to go to an event just simply because I'm nearby. So that's something to take into consideration.
That's a great tip, Louise.
Yeah. So thank you, Samantha. The other thing, and this is one of my own predictions, Marketplace is growing and growing and growing and growing. And at the moment, people kind of see it as a place for jumble sales, but that's going to change. Facebook are going to be competing with the Amazons and the eBays of this world, okay? And Marketplace is like the 700 million monthly active users in Marketplace. So if you're a small business and if you're selling products, you should be looking at Marketplace. Now, at the moment in Ireland, you can only sell on Marketplace as yourself. So you have to sell under your personal profile. But in America, you can sell as your business page. So that's going to come down the line as well. So have we seen services? I don't think I've seen services on Marketplace. No, it's more for like selling products rather than services, Tamara. But who knows? Or online products. No, it's more kind of what I have seen. It's more physical products than online products. Facebook are also developing their own currency. Okay, and this is going to be a digital currency. So when we see that coming on stream, what you're going to see there is lots of in-app purchases. So that's why I say start looking at Marketplace, because they're going to complete all those transactions within the app. So that's something to take into consideration. And you may have, like the Creator Studio they really started pushing that in late 2019. And again, if you haven't started using it, it is amazing. What's really good about it is that you can schedule content on Instagram from a PC. So if you just want to be able to do your work and turn off, or if you have got, let's say, a video that's only on your PC, you don't actually have it on your phone, the Creator Studio is a wonderful resource and it's free to use. When you log on, you may not have the facility, or you set up the account, you may not get the facility to update Instagram immediately. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to come. So that's what's happening on Facebook.
Question from Martina. Sorry to interrupt you. Martina said, when Tamara asked about services on Marketplace, Martina asked, or online products.
No, I don't see online products. I see it's more for, but in saying that now, like you can have a search in yourself. I have only ever seen kind of products, like physical products for sale. And so it kind of has moved more from the jumble sale kind of feel to kind of newer products as well. Something what you find on marketplaces is if there are shops that have end of line, or if you have end of line stock, it can be a great way to get rid of it. Or I've also come across shops who have actually closed in the real world and just getting rid of old stock, and you can get really some good bargains on it as well. So yeah, that's from marketplace. So that's what's happening. What's happening or coming down the line on Facebook? What's happening on Instagram? Messenger. So they're recoding it. Now, I think this is so clever, okay? So you have to hand it to Mark Zuckerberg. He's just on the ball. I know when I'm in training, and I don't, if there's any other trainers here, Samantha, I don't know how you feel. I would find that when I'm in a training room, that people say, and I'm saying to them, will you send me that? I usually do video training. I say, send me that video on Messenger, and we'll have a look at it here. We'll review it. And people say, oh, I don't have room on my phone. I don't have room on my phone for this app. I don't have room on my phone for that app. And so when I heard that they were like recoding Messenger to make it smaller and faster, and I thought, well, like that's just because people always have issues with space on their phone. So if you have an app that's fast, takes up little space, people are going to use it. And you'll find people that never will want to use Facebook or Instagram, but they want a good messaging app, and they'll gravitate towards Messenger. And there's a new lead generation tool in Messenger, which is really good. I've checked it out. So if you wanted to have use automated question and answer tool that launches Facebook's click to messenger ads, you can do that too. I've used it. It's really good. There's an automated appointment booker, which is super. So if you are selling services, who was selling on about selling services tomorrow? So if you're selling services, and part of what you need to do is to get to chat to people, because remember, you end up doing business with people that you start talking to. You can offer maybe a 10 for 15-minute free consultation, and you can do that through an ad to warm audiences, and that will work really well for you. And there's also an increased conversion tracker, so you can make more informed decisions about, campaigns that you have run. Oh, thank you, Tamara. So Instagram. So there are new camera features which they've been around for a few months now, and again, like, they are wonderful for keeping people using the platform, and that's what we as people need. We need eyeballs on the platform. So there's cool stickers and stories like the countdown or ask a question. So again, I would say something definitely worth checking out and seeing how you can use as a business. Less prominent likes, again, and there's a new collaborative feature in stories. So I'll be talking a little bit more about Instagram in a few minutes. So all of this presents huge opportunities for us as business people, but it also all the people using the platforms, all the changes come to the line, a great opportunity, but it's a challenge as well. And so what I want to talk to you about is how you can actually stand out in the crowd, because 3.4 billion people using social media is wonderful, but 3.4 million people using social media means there's a lot of people there. And if your message isn't clear, and if you're not very clear who you're trying to reach, you won't stand out in the crowd. And so the roadblocks that I generally encounter when I'm dealing with businesses are, number one, confidence. Believe it or not, it is always the biggest bit of feedback I get from people when they do my online course. Is confidence. They say, I now have confidence to actually put myself out there. So a lot of people don't want to do videos because they don't want them. They're afraid of what people will say. They're afraid of what the competitors will say. They're afraid of what their families, their in-laws, their friends. They're afraid of what people will say. So confidence is a major stumbling block or block for people. And that's something that I think people tell me I give them most help with, is actually the confidence to put themselves out there.
Yeah, same here, Louise. It's crazy, isn't it? It's actually really, really common. I think every single student I get, it's the same thing. So don't be worrying if you're feeling like that, because it's really, lots of people are the same. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can do it. Like, that's the message. You can do it. And people that like I work with, and eventually they do it, and then they go, oh, it wasn't so bad,
Yeah.
So confidence is a huge issue. Second issue is like overwhelm. It's like, gosh, there's so much information out there. There's so much on YouTube. There's so many tutorials everywhere. But like, what do I take on board and what do I not take on board? And sometimes when you're a bit overwhelmed with things, you do nothing. And that can be often a thing I come across as well. And the third thing I often see is that people have so much overwhelm is that they don't actually know where to start. And then people are afraid they waste their time, or they're not using their time effectively. And so I think when you don't have a strategy, that's absolutely what happens to you. And the fifth thing I hear is, like, I still hear people when I see what they do with their Facebook ads, and I'm like, oh my God, what did you do there? Or just spending money and just not knowing how they're spending it, how they should be spending it, or having some knowledge even of how to set up an ad, but just not having any strategy behind it. And when you do that, you can an awful lot of money, in short space time on Facebook ads. So here's my advice for 2020. So number one, and this goes back to the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So that's why I think that that slide is probably the most significant one of my presentation. In 2020, expect more lurkers. People are still on Facebook. People are still on social media, but they are there and they don't want anyone to know they're there. So, you know, I know the people straight away, I'm visiting them in my head and they tell me I don't use Facebook, but then, you know, you put up something and they'll say, oh, I saw that you were such a place, you know. So and they'll never admit that they're there.
I know.
Yeah, so and that's fine. Like, if that's totally fine. But as business people, why I say that is that we need to plan that when we create our content, that we are creating it for people that sometimes just don't want us to know they're there. And so focus on silent reach and interactions. Martina, you get that all the time too. Yeah, it's gas. Focus on silent reach and interactions. So and don't get disheartened. So if you put up a post and people, like, I would say, don't ask questions on social media, but unless you have a really a group of people are really motivated, because in general people won't respond. So don't get disheartened. Create as clickable content as you can. So rather than sharing one image, share 5 or 6 images, because people will have the curiosity to want to click through, and all those clicks count as engagements, and so the algorithm will push out your content more because of those interactions. And publish more video content. Like, that's the biggest tip I can give you from today. Do as much video content as you can, and that goes back again to the first stumbling block, is confidence. You know, you need to, that's the type of thing that will work. So if you find that you're afraid to put out video content, or you don't want to do it, or you haven't been doing it, what I'd say is you need to do something about that, because that's the type of content that's going to work for you. Hi, Rachel, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Number 2, so number 1 is expect more lurkers. Number 2, content is still king. So content, like, is still king. Like, and what I would say is that if you're running a campaign and your content is good, you will get away with so many other mistakes that you might make. Your content, if your content is good, it will really help you. And the difference that I have this new analogy that I came up with. If your content is good, okay, it's like standing at the top of a hill with a ball. If you let go of that ball, it will roll and roll. And if you pay Facebook to show it to more people, it'll roll faster. That's when your content is good, you're at the top of the hill. When your content is not good, it's like taking a ball and trying to roll it up a hill. And even if you pay Facebook to show it to people, it will roll back. It will not make any progress. So content is still king. If you are publishing vanilla 50 shades of vanilla, I call this. If your content's really boring, it won't work. So be wary of putting out boring generic content. If you look at the content on your page and ask yourself this question: if my competitors can push out the same content, could copy and paste this post and put it on their page, then it's not good enough. Okay, it's just not good enough. So 50 shades of vanilla, we need to, we absolutely need to avoid. And oftentimes when I review people's Facebook pages, that's what I see. I see, I'd say, could your competitor have used that same post? And if they could, then it's just not good enough. And that's where I go back to the.
That's a really good thing to think about, actually, everybody. I would write that on your whiteboards right now. If my competitor could say what you said again, please. If my competitor could use that content, then it's not good enough. Is that what you said?
Yeah. And even if you're outsourcing your social media to somebody, because I know lots of businesses do that, and it's totally fine. You still need to be so much part of that content creation plan, because otherwise they're just going to put out 50 shades of vanilla, which will not work for your business. Yeah. Here's an example of a post which is very generic, and my client doesn't mind sharing this with you, because this is the type of content that they were putting out on their page before I started working with them. And it was like George Jane Skincare, or this amazing skincare company based in County Clare, and it's handmade skincare with organic products from all over the world. And this post is like, happy Father's Day to all the great dads and granddads out there. Like, anyone on anywhere in the world could have created this post. And you can see that they use, like, the video, it's a stock video, stock images, a slideshow of stock images. So it's nothing at all related to this business. And so when you put content out like that, that's got an organic reach of 10%. It wouldn't get an organic reach of 10% now, because it's even harder to get organic reach. So if you're putting out content that anyone can use, well, you've got an issue. Now, and all the content on the page was really, really poor at the time that I started working with them. Now, here is Georgia Jane Skincare. Now, I just go back to this example time and time again, because this is Michelle, and I had to cajole Michelle over weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to do this video. This is the first video that she ever did on her page. And she didn't want to do a video. And I said, please do a video, because, you know, the content needs to be just about you. So this was a video that we did as part of a campaign. Now, that's also key to this as well. Don't plan your content in individual posts, because that will achieve nothing. You need to be creating your content in the context of a campaign. And the campaign needs to have a goal, whether a sales goal. And the campaign has to have a beginning, middle, and end. And the campaign has to have content that's planned throughout that campaign to help achieve the goals. And so this is exactly what this post was. This was a post where Michelle is just giving us advice on, and actually it was me that came up with the suggestion, because I was like, what's the difference between the cheap hyaluronic acid in pennies and yours? And she goes, oh my God, like, how do you not know that? I'm like, I guarantee you, nobody knows that. So
Yeah.
just tell me, when we're buying hyaluronic acid, how do we know the difference between the different types? And so she created a little video. And I'll just come back to you in a second, tomorrow, because I'll just finish this point. So she put out a video, and as you can see, she created a video in her bedroom, in her house, and look how well it performed. Now, I'll just give you a breakdown. So the reach was nearly 17,000. Page reach was 14,324 out of that. Now, you might say, oh, she paid for that. But look what she spent. 50 euros to reach over 14,000 people. And the reason that 50 euros reached so many people was because that analogy of the ball standing at the top of the hill, the content was so relevant to the audience that we selected for that ad. It just went, whew, just took off. Okay, so 3-second views are 8,000, and 10-second views are 2,500. They are significant, because at 10 seconds, people have increased brand awareness, increased purchase intent. So the studies tell us they're more likely to buy that product if they watch just 10 seconds of that. And so as part of the campaign, what we did was we planned the content. We planned when the content was go out. We planned other similar content like that. And then we also created audiences of people who match the profile of the ideal customer. And then what's significant about it is that the people who watched, the 2,500 people who watched 10 seconds, now we're building a warm audience. So our remarketing ads, we're going to use for those people. So I see a question here. What would you recommend for tech, big data type social content where videos like this would not be appropriate? Oh, Tamara, you'll have to tell me. You'll have to tell me what your business is, and I'll give you a suggestion. That's a bit meaty. Wow, that's fantastic. Did she generate any sales? Well, actually, Ashley, that's a fantastic question. One post is never going to generate you sales. One post is never going to do it. And that's another thing that I find with people, is that their expectations when it comes to social media marketing, are too high. They think, oh, I've done a post. How many sales am I going to get? Like, that was just one of a campaign. And so it was at the end of the campaign that we converted traffic into sales. And then you build on it the next campaign. So you never do it on, because I had one lady who came up to me at the end of a talk. She goes, oh my God, I had a video that went viral and I had 100 and whatever 1,000 views, but I didn't generate any sales. And I'm like, you won't, because in fact, you have to touch somebody between 9 and 18 times. That sounds awful. You have to reach them between 9 and 18 times before they're ready to do business with you. So just getting your content in front of them once is funny. I saw on the group, somebody put up in the group something like, is that the girl who had that had the diary for sale? Yeah. So I just thought I was laughing to myself because I was going, obviously she's seen the ads a few times, but the message still hasn't kind of got in, and that's, people don't see your ad and go, oh geez, I'm going to buy that. Because if they did, life would just be too easy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I love everything you're saying, by the way, Louise, because I do saying this to my clients, even around Twitter and stuff, that it's okay to post a few times, like, and stuff. And well, Twitter's a different animal altogether. But, even the basic things that you're saying about, the content and, it's brilliant. Thanks, Louise.
Not at all. Tamara, you just let me know what your business is and I'll come up with an idea. So there's always, like, bigger companies find this more difficult than smaller companies. So Georgia Jane Skincare, what makes her different? Because she was trying to be like Lancome. She was going, no, but I want to need buy, and I was like, but you're not Lancome.
Yes.
You're not Lancome. You have something that actually is going to resonate a lot more with people on social media than Lancome. So for Tamara, for large companies, you need to find the face of the company, and you need to kind of work with influencers, and you need to kind of to tap into the conversations your customers are having. If that's a bit of a starting point, but I need to know what your business is to give you a specific example. Okay, so that's number 3, or what is it? We're still on 2. Content is king. Content is king. So number 1, expect silent interactions. Number 1, content is going to get you over lots of hurdles. 3, video is huge. Video is so important now. It was important last year. It's going to be important next year. It's going to become even more important. Reasons to use native video. So when I say video, I don't link to like a video that you put on YouTube, or a video on with Stia, or a video on any other platform. If you go video, when in this context, is native video, which is video uploaded directly to Facebook. So reasons, first of all, the reach on your post is going to be 3 to 4 times higher with a video. And the thing that makes Facebook and Instagram different from every other social media platform is the ability to be able to remarket to people who watched your videos. You can't do that anywhere else on any other platform. So as a small business, you may not have a budget to drive thousands of people to your website to remarket to them, but you have the ability to create amazing video content that you can then use to remarket to the video viewers. So 64% of users are more likely to complete an online purchase after watching a video. And you get amazing in-depth statistics on watch time, audience, and engagement. You can repurpose your video content as a blog on your website. You can embed it. And you can use Facebook ads to make sure that the people that are more likely to have the problem that you're solving or the product that you're selling, you can pay to make sure it gets in front of them. And that's always, for me, a win-win. Number 4 is it's time to embrace stories on Instagram and Facebook. Now, the reason I say this is kind of going back to the whole thing of the future is private. Again, this is disposable content. It's gone in 24 hours. And that's why users are beginning to flock to Instagram and Facebook stories, because they like the fact that they can put something up and in 24 hours it is gone. And so what I would say to businesses with 200 million daily active users on Instagram and 500 million daily active users on Facebook, this is one of the fastest growing platforms within the Facebook suite. Okay, and your content can be discoverable. That's important. So other people that don't follow you can find your content through stories. Now, what I would say to businesses is that my experience is that people don't like the stories, and they kind of shy away from them. But what I'd say to you is, when organic reach is getting harder to achieve, we as business people, we need to find other places where we can find decent organic reach or cheaper ads. And so if you kind of go to the places that not everybody is using yet, you're going to find it easier to get organic reach, and you're going to find your ads cost you less. So that's the reason I would say to embrace Instagram and Facebook stories. If you need help on how to do Instagram and Facebook stories, I'm going to be doing a live training session next week. It's on Thursday night. And I'll be covering that there. But time to embrace Instagram and Facebook stories. It's for throwaway content, and it actually is quite fun. Yes, there's a stories option for Pages Manager and Facebook, Ailish. Just make sure that you update the Pages Manager app, because I didn't have mine for a long time, and I'm an admin of 91 pages, believe it or not, and I had it for so many of all the pages, but not my own. And then I just got it through during the summer. So you may just need to update the app to make sure you're using the latest form of the app. Okay, and the number 5. So number 5 reason, a bit of advice I can give you is businesses that have a strategy. always, always achieve more. So if you are just meandering along, if you are just posting nilly-willy here and there, or if you even find that you're nearly at the same point as you were this time last year, it can just be that you haven't sat down and put a strategy together. And that's something that I help businesses with. This is my 6-step system, and this is the 6-step system that you see in my book. It's a 6-step system that you see on my online training, and the 6-step system that I take people through when I'm coaching. And so this system is based on, number 1, identifying how you as a business are unique and different, and why somebody would want to do business with you. And lots of people think, oh, Jesus, when I start talking about that, right? But it's actually the biggest issue, because lots of businesses haven't positioned themselves, or they don't know how to position themselves, or they don't know how to make themselves different, or they don't recognize how they are different. And when that is the case, you will find that nothing else will work, because the foundation isn't right. And then once you've done that, you need to brand whatever channel you're on. So whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is. And there are certain ways that you brand your channel on different platforms. The third thing is you plan your content strategically. So that's all I talked to you about, planning it for campaigns rather than individual posts. And the fourth thing there is you've got to understand how the algorithm works on the social media platform that you're using. The fifth thing is you got to use Facebook ads. If you are not using Facebook ads, you are missing a trick. And remember, your Facebook ads can run on Facebook Messenger and on Instagram. And the last thing you need to do is to learn and adapt. Because here's the big thing, guys. Nobody gets it right. Nobody gets it right first time, second time, third time. I am running ads now, even for myself, and I am continually tuning in, tweaking things, seeing how I can get a better result. The problem is, if you haven't recognized your funnel, so your funnel, what's the starting point? What's point B? What's the conversion rate between point A and point B? What's point C? What's the conversion rate between point B and point C? If you're not doing that, then you will not learn, you will not adapt, and you will not improve. Okay, so 10 years, I should change this now, because I'm going to be 11 years in a few months now, but I'm 10 years doing this. I just want to tell you about a few of my own services, if you don't mind, guys. This is my new workbook that I have just launched in the last week or two. So it's a Facebook Upgrade 2020, and it's a Facebook workbook and 2020 content calendar. Now, this is an editable PDF document. So this is a working document. This is something that you will fill in and use throughout the entire year. So just to give you a look inside, so it takes you through all the different steps that you need to follow in order to create a content plan. So from starting with your goals, and this is all, there are prompts, there are questions that I ask, so you answer the questions and it helps you create this plan. So it's all about goal setting, identifying how to identify your unique selling proposition. There's a few pages in that with a workbook that you work through, and it helps you answer those questions, and it helps you get to think about things in a different way. Customer analysis and profiling is another one there, which is extremely important, and there's a few pages on that which help you to achieve that. And then we talk about content creation, and there's a good few ideas there for content creation. And then we talk about how to, so all of that actually is relevant for any social media platform, but the organic reach section is all relevant to Facebook. And then there's a whole section on Facebook ads as well. And then the content calendar, so there's a page like this within it, which kind of gives you prompts for every month of the year, every quarter, so quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and then just kind of general prompts to get you going and get you thinking of what you should be thinking about. And then the content calendar looks like this. It's all editable. So again, you can have a few people in the organization working on it. You can be filling in when you're going to post what post. What's good about the content calendar is that it's packed full of like world commemoration days and festive days that are celebrated all over the world. And like, say, for example, Universal Children's Day, or International Day for Tolerance, or Stress Awareness Week, or there's another one there, World Kindness Day. Now that's a hashtag. So sometimes if they're popular hashtags and popular days, they're included, or sometimes they're just commemoration days. So yeah, Suzanne, is it No, it's available online. You can print it if you like. But to me, this is This is a working document that'll be on your PC. I have heard people come back and print it, which I was like, okay, I hadn't thought of it like that. But you can buy this on my website if you go to www.sellonsocial.media, and you'll see the 2020 Facebook workbook and content calendar. There is $9.99, and it is a wonderful tool. It's for €10, $9.99. It's definitely a good investment, and it'll get you thinking a little bit outside the box. I also want to tell you about my Social Media Superstars program, and this is my Social Media Superstars program. So, and you actually get the workbook free when you join up to my Social Media Superstars program. So it's worth €10, but it's free with this program.
There's a question there. Is this an online tool or paper copy? Suzanne says.
Yeah, so I was just saying it's an editable PDF, but you can print it off yourself if you want that. But it's not something that I have printed, because I see this as more as an edit, something that you'll use. I will use more online. Some people might prefer to print and fill it out. And you can edit it and print it out, which is good. So it's A4. So the program includes the following modules. So the 6-step system that I spoke about a few minutes ago, there's a module for every single one of those. So common issues for beginners, that's just common problems that people have it set up. But there's a Facebook, there's a course then on how to brand yourself, how to position your business. That's a really, really good course to do. Then there's one on content media I go through all the different the different types of content that you can produce, but I also talk about the customer journey and how you should relate the customer journey to the type of content. And that's how you get and you plan your campaigns, is when you understand that customer journey and the different types of content that you need to show people at different times along their journey. The next course then is all about the Facebook algorithm, and then the Facebook advertising 101. That's got 3 courses within it. So one is on Facebook audiences, and one is on the ads manager, and one is on sales strategies. Then there's another course on how to plan a social media campaign, and you do that when you have everything else done. But what I find is hilarious when I get new members to sign up, they skip to that and they just want to skip all the hard work and get to the answer at the end. And then there's also an introduction to the Facebook Business Manager, which people find difficult to use, but you're going to start using it more and more because Facebook are moving us towards it. So that's what's included in the training. But you also get a monthly Zoom call. So something like this, but you can see the picture there. People actually arrive on the screen, and this is free with your membership. You can Zoom in once a month, and you get to say to me, Louise, I'm stuck. Will I do it this way or that way? Or how would you approach this? And basically everybody gets their own time, and I talk through and give everybody a little bit of help and advice and keep them moving. So
Louise, sorry, and Louise, I have to go soon because I didn't realize, I have to go soon to do my own online classes. But just a question, can you buy the modules individually?
You can buy them individually. The best way that you'll get is, you can see that I have live Instagram training coming next week, which is €30. And that's going to be about branding your channel, how to grow your followers quickly, creating a content strategy, a hashtag policy, using Instagram stories. Now, so if you sign up, it's €180 for the year for all of that. So within that, you're going to get your free workbook, you'll get your live training, every month, and you get all that online training. You can tap in and out of those modules as you need. You get the Zoom calls with me once a month, okay? And that's €180. But I'm offering a discount to people here today with the discount code WINNERS, which gives you 20% discount. So you're going to save yourself some money there. I can't do the maths in my head, but it's down to €144.
There's the link. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say you're saving €36. I know I had figured it out somewhere. So yes, or you can pay month by month if you wish as well, and that ends up being €9 a month as well. So and all of that, you get your Zoom calls, you get your the live training next week, which just happens to be on Instagramming. The next one I'm going to do is going to be on the Pixel, unless somebody else wants me to do something else. I also have some training people want me to do on MailChimp, even though it's not social media, but you use it so much at social media, I'll do that as well. So that is what I am offering there today. Thank you so much, good woman, for putting in the link in there. If you go to the website, sellonsocial.media, you'll also get a link to the, you'll see the workbook there as well, which I said is $9.99. So I'm sorry I've run over time. I know you're under pressure, Samantha, but I just wanted to thank you for having me on this morning. And thank everybody for tuning in and for all your lovely comments and questions. If anybody, and I understand you're under pressure, but if anybody wants to chat with me afterwards, oh, thank you. Thanks very much, Rachel. Yeah, so all the modules are there for about 30 or 40 euros as well. So if anybody wants to chat with me, I'll be on my own Facebook page, or you can chat with me, no problem.
Definitely connect with Louise. I'll just give you her Twitter so that you can connect on Twitter as well. Thank you so much, Louise. You always add so much value, and we're very grateful for your time. We know you're a busy lady as well. And ladies, definitely, if you are going to get Facebook, stuff like that, definitely Facebook. She is the Facebook queen. So definitely, Louise, I would recommend her. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Samantha. Thank you.
Well, I can be the Twitter queen. You can be the Facebook queen. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Are you the Facebook Louise? I think, yes, I'm the Facebook Louise.
All right. Bye, ladies. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, everybody, just a reminder that Linda is live on 2FM this morning, so if you can tune into 2FM. Okay, bye.